Hi everyone, Happy New Year. I hope everyone has had a great start to the year. I hope that your 2015 was as good as mine, and I think we have a lot to look forward to in 2016. I know we've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of events coming up to help educate real estate investors. We've got webinars for those all over the world. We've got live events here in the Lower Mainland with strategy workshops to help your kids invest in real estate and educate you on the things you need to know to make money in real estate. We've got an investor tour to Fort St. John coming up on February 20th, as well as a number of investor tours that we'll be doing as well. If you're interested in checking out any of those, please feel free to check out the link. I'm very excited for what's happening in Northeast BC here, especially right now with what's happening with Site C Dam. As you know, at the end of last year, the major contract for civil works was awarded by BC Hydro. It's about a $1.75 billion contract. Those workers are coming to town now. They're expected to start work on that here in the next 2 weeks. This is fantastic news for the area. I also expect to see that sometime a little bit later on, perhaps this year and definitely into next, we're going to start to see those spin-off jobs that come from the Site C Dam direct jobs. So we're going to have the first wave starting to come here right away, second wave as those spin-off jobs start to be created. I know Site C in particular is having a job fair on here at the end of January, so if you have anybody you know that's looking for work, might be a good place to send them up. Some more good news for Dawson Creek from TransCanada, who's announced that they have plans to build 2 new pipelines that are going to go east. They expect these pipelines to be started here with about 350 workers that they're going to be needing in late 2016, early 2017, and then in about the spring of 2017, about another 450 workers here. That should be a boost in the arm for Dawson Creek. What's happening right now is they've done a lot of the drilling for the natural gas, and the pipelines are the bottleneck for the natural gas right now. So TransCanada is really trying to catch up, and they've started to do a lot of the infrastructure. One of the biggest questions I get asked is what's the impact of the lower current energy prices on the likelihood of these LNG projects going ahead. And there was an excellent article that came out this month that starts to address that. In the article, they talked to a few analysts and experts in the industry. One is Rasim Griba, who leads Deloitte Canada's LNG business. He said that the downturn's actually an ideal time to start building the projects. He says this is the best time to invest in infrastructure when prices are low, when the costs are low, when labor is available, when the steel costs are low. And the reason that's important here that these projects still go ahead is because you know that each one of these LNG projects represents thousands of direct jobs in the Northeast and will just provide a huge shot in the arm for the real estate market. Also, there's been some very good progress from both LNG Canada and Petronas that I'm going to go over for you that have led me to believe that we should see some final investment decisions in 2016. I believe this is the year, and I think that a lot of investors that have gotten in are really going to be rewarded for being in the market. First, an update on Shell's project, LNG Canada. They've been issued a facility permit by the Oil and Gas Commission. This outlines the design of the project, and this is another hurdle crossed. And second, and what I think the more important news for this month is that they've been issued a 40-year export permit to export gas from the West Coast. This is something that globally most people in these projects aren't able to secure. So to be able to spread the cost of this project out over 40 years is a huge competitive advantage for the project, and it's the first 40-year permit that Canada's issued. So again, some great progress on the Shell LNG plant, and this is one of the projects that I expect will see a final investment decision this year. I personally believe it will be in the first half of the year. Another reason I believe that will be the case is because the export permit says that they have to be exporting by 2022, and the plant takes about 5 years to build. So if we backtrack and say 2022, subtract the 5 years, that takes us to 2017 is the latest they could start building. That means that they need to get to that final investment decision sooner rather than later and get shovels in the ground. Also, some great news for the Pacific Northwest LNG project this month. This is the one led by Petronas. They have just heard that the federal scientists from the Fisheries and Oceans Canada Department have agreed with their study that they don't think that a lot of damage, environmental damage, will be done by the project. The concern was over a particularly small part of where they're planning to build the LNG plant near Prince Rupert, where it's a salmon rearing habitat, and they want to make sure that that the salmon are not going to be significantly impacted. And the federal scientists have said that they don't believe it would be. And why that's important is because the last piece of the puzzle that Petronas is waiting for is to get the federal environmental assessment approval. And this is a huge step in getting that approval, which is expected to come out sometime by hopefully this spring. So in the article it says, and I'll just read this for you because I think it's very important. It says, Fisheries and Oceans Canada wrote to the Canadian Environmental Assessment Agency last week stating, the effects of the marine structure on fish and fish habitat have been categorized as having a low potential of resulting in significant adverse effects. And why I believe this is so important here is this is going to be the information that the federal environmental study is relying on to give the project a go-ahead here. So while you'll never hear me use the word guarantee in this business, this is the kind of information they're looking at to give it a go-ahead, and I believe it's a huge step forward and a positive step forward, and I believe we will see a final investment decision for Petronas this year as well. So very, very good news for the Northeast when one of these projects goes through. In the meantime, Site C Dam is really ramping up. So I think 2016 is going to be a fantastic year to get into the Northeast. There's a big opportunity, and hopefully if you have any questions about investing in the area, I personally have invested quite a bit in the area and have multiple properties. I'd be happy to answer your questions, and maybe you'd like to come out to one of our events. We'd love to have you out, and I'd love to get to know you a bit better. Again, I hope everybody had a great start to 2016, and I look forward to a fantastic year ahead and keeping you guys updated in the process. Talk to you next month.